how long does it take to get divorced? And my first answer is it all depends. But the technical answer is any lawsuit in the state of Michigan takes a minimum of 60 days from the date that the case was filed until the judge can give a final judgment of divorce. So if you walked into my office with everything agreed upon, we could time everything so that we could be done in 60 days, 61 days, 62 days, depending on the judge's schedule. Now, if there are minor children involved in your case, the minimum amount of time, there's a statutory waiting period. That statutory waiting period is a 6-month period of time. And the concept behind it is to give mothers and fathers an opportunity to acclimate themselves and their family to the divorce process and help the children through that process also. They don't want to just jump into something a couple months later where the case is completed and nobody really knows what they're doing. They're just trying to maintain a little bit of the status quo and stability. And I think that rule, that statutory waiting period, comes from a long, long time ago when the public policy was, you know what, let's give everyone a chance to cool off and think about their case and figure out how they're going to move forward, as opposed to just automatically divorcing them, just creating a mess for the family. I think that's the background. However, having said that about that 6-month waiting period, most judges in our area, and most judges in Michigan, although there's a lot that don't, will waive that 6-month waiting period. But when you get into a divorce case, you have to expect that there will be a minimum 6-month period of time before you can actually get divorced. The final component to this, for how long it'll take, the Michigan Supreme Court has a report card for all the judges in the state of Michigan. And the Michigan Supreme Court has told all of the judges that handle divorce cases that we want all the cases done within 12 months. So most of the judges, when a case comes in front of them, no matter what the issues are, they want to get that done within a 12-month period because they want to get the best grade they can with the Michigan Supreme Court. So that's something else to consider. Sometimes you hear horror stories about cases going on for years and years. That really doesn't happen anymore. That used to a long time ago, and there are exceptions to this rule. I personally had a case that went on for about 2 years from a few years ago. It was right after COVID started. There were a lot of extenuating circumstances. It was very difficult to get trial dates and get into court to do what you needed to do. So it took an extended period of time. Sometimes cases will be extended a little bit because there's business valuation. Sometimes there's particular issues with the minor children that need to be sorted out. And so judges will violate that. It's not breaking the law, but they'll violate that 12-month period of time because they want to do what's best for the family. So those are the basic cutoffs that you have, that 60-day period, the statutory 6-month waiting period, and then the outside limit of 12 months. Now, all that having been said, that's really what the law and the court rules call for. As a practical matter, if you don't have minor children, it's very typical for a case to take about 4 to 6 months from the day the case gets filed. If there's particular issues, you're probably looking at 6 to 8 months. If there's minor children, it's about the same period of time. Again, a lot depends on how much each spouse can cooperate. Does the husband want to cooperate with the wife and vice versa? If there's children, do the mother and the father agree on a parenting time schedule and the custodial arrangements? So those are all things to keep in mind when you're trying to consider how long it takes to get divorced.